Welcome back, friends. This is Tiffany with Small Town 6, and today I am bringing you my weekly What's for Dinner video. This week I'm sharing some obviously super easy recipes. These turned out really good, so I'm super excited to share them with you because some are really new recipes I've never made before. So I was a little hesitant to make them because I wasn't sure what the outcome would be, but they were all awesome. So I'll link all the ingredients down below. Also, today's video is in collaboration with my good friend Tiffany from Large Family Love. Love her. She is Superwoman. I've told you guys this a million times. We've collabed several times before. I just love her. She is the sweetest mama. I am just in awe of her. Every time I watch her videos, I feel so comforted, and like it makes me want to just stock up my pantry and make everything from scratch all the time, and just, I don't know, she just gives this awesome vibe watching her channel because she is such an awesome person. So go check out Tiff's channel if you haven't watched her before. You will love her. Her family is the sweetest. She is awesome. Like I said a million times over, she's great. She is a superwoman. So I'll link her channel and her video down below. She has all kinds of grocery hauls. She has all kinds of cooking videos. She vlogs daily. So she is always cooking and staying on budget, and it's just such an inspiration. So go give her some love. Tell her I sent you. If you guys are coming from Tiff's channel, welcome. You guys, I'm Tiffany also. I share lots of grocery hauls, lots of cooking videos, and I throw in some other motivation. So I'd love to have you guys here. But without much ado, let's go ahead and get started in this week's dinners, guys. This is a favorite recipe of ours. I'm just going to use my crock pot, spray it out, and I'm going to take a packet of stew meat. I'm not even chopping it up finer. I'm just going to throw it in there. I'm going to take a bowl and I'm going to mix together a packet of au jus because I don't have brown gravy on me, or else I'd mix that. And then I'm going to take a packet of the onion soup mix. And then I am going to take a can of cream of mushroom soup. And we're going to mix in 1 can of mushrooms and 1 cup of water. And that's going to be like our gravy. And we're just going to mix that together. And we're going to pour it over that stew meat and let it cook on low for 6 to 8 hours, or on high for 3 to 4. So I just let it cook all day long, and it makes this awesome slow cooked meal. And then I want to serve it alongside some mashed potatoes that I threw in my Instant Pot, and spoon it over top of them for a really yummy home-style meal. So here is dinner. This is leftover asparagus fries. Those are some rolls left over, and then this is the beef mixture, the beef stew mixture with the mushrooms and everything poured on some mashed potatoes I made in the Instant Pot. It only took 20 minutes. I just diced some potatoes, threw a cup of chicken broth in it, and let it cook for 20 minutes, and then mashed them and threw some butter in and some garlic salt and all that kind of stuff. And there you go. Here's dinner. This next recipe is so good, and I'm not even a pork chop fan. So we are going to make the batter here. We are going to take, you need 2 egg whites into a bowl. Obviously you need a pack of pork chops. Then you need 1 tablespoon of skim milk to mix into that bowl of egg whites. Then we are going to take a tablespoon of wheat flour in the other bowl. And then in the next bowl, we're going to take a half a cup of panko bread crumbs. And then we're going to take a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. And then this is really different. We're going to take 1.5 tablespoons of Old Bay seasoning. And then we're going to mix that together and throw in a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper with this. We're kind of like just going to dredge all of this together to give it this nice coating on the pork chops, and then we'll make the gravy separate here in just a minute. But this is kind of a lightened up pork chop recipe that's breaded, and it turned out amazing. So now we are going to spray our just a cooking sheet with some cooking spray. We're going to dredge the pork chops. We're going to take it in the egg white mixture first, dredge it in the flour, and then we're going to put it in to the seasoning. And then we're going to bake this in the oven at 400 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. And then we're going to start on the gravy. To make the gravy, we're going to take our saucepan and we're going to take 1 tablespoon of butter. We're going to mix that with 1 tablespoon of wheat flour and kind of just like make a roux with that. And then once that gets a nice, it will be kind of like crumbly, we're going to mix in 3/4 a cup of fat-free milk, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. But you know me, I go overboard with pepper. So we're going to mix that together, and that is going to be our gravy that we will pour over these pork chops. And as you can see, these pork chops look so yummy, all baked up. So now we're going to move on to another recipe. You're just going to take 4 Granny Smith apples and chop them up. I used obviously Gala apples or Honeycrisp, whatever I had on hand. And I'm just going to dice those up. And then we're going to take a pan and we are going to put in a teaspoon of coconut oil. And then you're supposed to use 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, but I'm just using the sugar-free syrup I have on hand. And then we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract and then a teaspoon of cinnamon, but I don't really measure that. And then we're just going to let that simmer, and you're supposed to add in 1/2 cup of apple juice, but I don't have that, so I'm just going to add in the water just to give it some more liquid. And then what we're going to do is in our oven at 400 degrees, we will be cooking those apples, but we're going to make the crumble topping. So you're going to take a tablespoon of wheat flour, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of stevia, 1/4 cup of rolled oats, and then we are going to take 1 tablespoon of butter, and we're just going to like slice that up. This is going to mix together and kind of make like a crumble topping that bakes on top of the apples in the oven, and it's so good, and it's so quick on a weeknight. Just to I don't know, I grew up with pork chops and apples when I was younger. So we're gonna pour that into like a pie plate, put that topping over it, and then we're gonna bake it in the oven for about 10 minutes is all it takes with this, and it's so good, guys. And then we're just going to serve that with some potatoes that I made in the Instant Pot, and yum. Okay, this recipe is going to be Southern fried chicken. We're going to take 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I've already diced them up, and I'm putting them in a freezer bag just to mix this easier. We are going to take 3/4 a cup of milk with a tablespoon of Frank's Red Hot sauce. And you're going to kind of just let that sit. You're supposed to let it sit in your fridge for 4 hours and let it kind of marinate together. And then we are going to take now we're going to take a food processor, and we are going to take 1/2 cup of the cornflakes. We are going to take a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of black pepper, and we are going to blend this together, and we're going to stir this into our panko breading, which is going to basically be 1/2 cup of panko breadcrumbs. And you just put it into a big pan, that way you can mix this together. And then we're also going to take another 1/2 cup of the cornflakes and just kind of crush them up in a little sandwich baggie to make those pieces just be a little bit thicker for this coating. And we're going to spray a baking sheet with some cooking spray, and then we are going to add our chicken. Just dredge the chicken into the cornflake mixture. Then we're going to put that on the baking sheet, because we're going to bake this in the oven for about 15 minutes at 400 degrees. And it's a really unique chicken recipe. Then we're going to make the asparagus fries. These are something new. I'm just trimming the ends off of the asparagus. So we're going to take a pie plate. I'm going to mix 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. I'm also going to mix 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and then we're going to mix a fourth a cup of Parmesan cheese in a separate pie plate, and we're going to mix 3/4 a cup of panko breadcrumbs in that one. And then I am going to put some, I don't have flaxseed meal, so I am just putting in some hemp seeds. And then we are going to take 2 egg whites in a separate bowl, and we are going to dredge the asparagus in the wheat flour, then in the egg mixture, and then in the panko mixture. And we are going to put this in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes at 425 degrees. And it's incredible, guys. Absolutely incredible. So now we're making a garlic aioli sauce. We're going to take 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, which is supposed to be light, a half a teaspoon of lemon zest. I'm just using lemon juice. Also a tablespoon of lemon juice, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and 1/8 teaspoon of... Hey guys, here is the dinner. This is a unique dinner, but I think it's going to be good. This is the macaroni and cheese. We've already tasted, so it did turn out good. Velveeta on the stovetop. This is new. This is that asparagus. It has like the garlic aioli sauce. It's kind of like, they're supposed to be like asparagus fries, but I don't know how many kids are going to want that, but I will definitely eat it. And then this is the lightened up chicken, like the fried chicken, but it's not really fried. It's baked in the oven with the seasonings, cornflakes. Anyway, it looks really, really good. So there is an easy dinner that's a little bit lightened up. Okay, for this recipe, I'm going to just take a saucepan, and I'm going to take a teaspoon of olive oil, 1 chopped up onion. It's supposed to be a half of one, but I'm just using a whole one. Then we are going to take a tablespoon of minced garlic, and we're going to take 1 can of just mushrooms. I'm going to mix that together and let that cook until it's soft. And in a separate bowl, we're going to stir together a jar of pasta sauce, which I'm just using marinara, 1 can of diced tomatoes, and then we're going to take a half a teaspoon of basil and 1/4 teaspoon of oregano. And we're going to mix that together for our pasta mixture, or pasta sauce mixture. And then in a separate bowl, we're going to mix together 1 15-ounce container of ricotta cheese. We're going to mix together a half a cup of Parmesan cheese, 1 egg beaten, and then 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. And that is going to be our cheese mixture. Then we're going to take a bag of spinach. It could be frozen. I'm using fresh, and I'm just going to chop that up in my blender. That way it's all nice and finely blended. And we're going to mix that into that ricotta mixture. And these were actually supposed to be lasagna roll-ups, but the first box of lasagna that I used didn't pan out well. It just kind of dissolved in the water. So I did a different take on this. I'm actually just going to layer this in a 13 by 9 inch pan. And I am just going to layer it like regular lasagna. So it turned out incredible. So it really didn't make a difference how you do this. You can do the roll-ups, but this turned out better, and it made actually more instead of just making 8 roll-ups. So all I'm using is a box I had on hand for my lasagna noodles. They were actually like lentil ones. So I'm just spraying in my pan, and then I'm just putting sauce on the bottom. I'm going to throw some onion mixture on there and the cheese, and then I'm going to layer some more sauce and the noodles. And you can really just do this however you guys want to, because there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just layering it this way, and then what you do is you will bake in the oven at 350 degrees, and this actually took about 40 minutes to bake. But I did top it with 1 bag of mozzarella cheese. It was only supposed to be a half a cup, but we like really cheesy lasagna. So the kids were afraid of this, but Gavin ended up tasting it and he really liked it. Ryan is not a lasagna person in any sort of way, but he really liked this. So I highly recommend this recipe. It was absolutely incredible. I ate on this for about 3 days because I loved it so much. And here is a quick way to make some garlic bread if you don't have it, if you're in a pinch. I'm just taking 1 can of biscuits that I already had in the fridge, and then I'm going to bake them according to the directions on the label. And then I'm going to mix some half a tablespoon of butter or half a stick of butter with some garlic salt, and I'm just going to spoon that over them when they're done, and it makes them so good. This was an absolutely incredible meal, and you can serve it with, you know, a salad. Hey guys, here is dinner. This is the mushroom, onion, spinach mixture. It was supposed to be rolled up, but when I made the lasagna rolls, like on the pan, on the stovetop, it just completely dissolved. It was disgusting. And I thought this would be better anyway because it's like real lasagna. So it would make more. So I did that and just layered it the way I wanted to. And then this is an easy fix if you don't feel like buying garlic bread, you don't have garlic bread. I had biscuits on hand, so just put some garlic butter mixture and then put a little bit of garlic salt on top. And there you go. You can serve it with a side salad too. Okay friends, that's going to be all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave you some easy dinner ideas for the week. And don't forget to check out Tiff's channel from Large Family Love. Go give her some love. Tell her that I sent you. And say hey to me in the comments. And guys, do not forget to hit the notification bell. It just lets you guys know every single time that I upload. And I'll see y'all next time. Love y'all. Bye.